Hey everybody, it is Sunday, April 5th. I hope you had a good weekend and that you are socially distancing yourself and doing some work for Miss Holmes. I wanted to talk to you about your homework for this week, at least part of it. Um, we had discussed marking and annotating and Cornell notes. Okay. In the office hours 2 weeks ago, I kind of just asked if everyone would be okay if we skipped outlining and just jumped to concept mapping. And and everybody said yes. So here we go. So remember, we are working on the buying and disposing chapter. Your homework was from before was to read it and underline or highlight the vocabulary and then use that to complete your vocabulary assignment, which was grouping related concepts, which is what you're going to be doing when you create concept mapping. So if you enjoyed that process of homework of finding the similarities between things, between vocabulary words, you'll really like concept mapping because it's kind of the same skill. So I wanted to walk you through the steps. I'm going to post this on our Blackboard page so you'll have it for reference. And then I want to show you some examples of what a concept map looks like and the start of a concept map from part of the buying and disposing chapter. So here we go. Here are a couple examples of concept mapping. You see they are connected by lines and there's words and boxes and little small words that connect them. Here's another example. This one's from the top down. The idea of concept mapping is that you can read it as sentences. So software engineering has a body of literature. Software engineering uses patterns that have a body of literature. Software engineering allows more efficient and/or effective results. Software engineering uses patterns which allow this. Patterns is defined as. So all of the connections are basically sentences. Superheroes protect the hidden identity. They do that via, which means through, physical transformation or costumes. Those costumes may include gimmicks like glasses or of Superman or gimmicks like masks. Okay. Then we have superheroes have motivation that includes greed, for example, the Joker, or revenge, the Joker, justice, maybe a midlife crisis that inspired Mr. Incredible. So you read them all as interconnected sentences. And it's a great way to lay out on one page a whole lot of information. So the definition of a concept map, it basically presents the relationship among a set of connected concepts or ideas. So it's basically showing on paper how your mind sees a particular topic. It's a visual organization. It shows concepts, keywords, and the relationships among and between them. So we're going to walk through the steps of creating a concept map. But in a quick little summary, it's you create it by writing keywords. Okay, you put them in circles or boxes or triangles, and then you draw arrows between the ideas that are related. Then you add the short explanation right next to the arrow to explain how the concepts are related. So you're looking for major and minor details and you're connecting them with levels. This is what you're going to be working through. Okay. So you're going to get assigned a section or two and you're going to mark and annotate it just like we've been doing. And from your memory or from the marks and annotations, you're going to make a list of them and print them neatly on small Post-its or small pieces of paper. One word or a short phrase per Post-it. If you have the tiny Post-its, that's awesome. If not, just cut a piece of paper into a bunch of little squares. Okay, so it's a brainstorming process. Everything you marked and annotated gets its own little sticky note square. Don't worry if you're repeated or how they're connected. You're just kind of doing a brain dump. Your objective here is to generate the largest list possible. That's the construction phase. Then you organize it. So you spread out all of your little Post-it notes on a flat surface and you start grouping related concepts. Sound familiar? Okay. It's all like our vocabulary. So you want to group items that maybe fall under a broader category. Okay. Some of them might fall into a grouping or two. Don't worry about that. It will become important later on when you're drawing your connectors. But you're basically grouping groups and subgroups of related items in the organizing phase. Then once you do that, you move to the layout phase. Okay. You can either start with your biggest key concept, maybe the heading in the middle, and arrange it all the way around it, or you can put that biggest heading at the top and work your way down. Okay. Basically, you're going to use a consistent hierarchy here. Okay. So the most important concepts are either at the top or in the middle. And then within each grouping, you'll have some subgroupings. You'll place closely related items next to each other. Okay? You want to keep that, I'm going to have to connect these with simple sentences. So can I verbalize how these are connected on the page, just in your head? Once you've laid it out, then you're going to link it. So you can take small pieces of Post-it note or little pieces of paper, and you're going to connect and show the relationship between those items. So you want to write your linking word or short phrase that shows the relationship. So you can have 3 arrows coming from the same concept, or you can have 2 arrows terminating in a concept. It's all about how you visualize the connections. So you should have this laid out on your desk or a table. You then will convert it to a permanent form. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little later some free websites that you can use that make colors and shapes for you. Kind of nice, but you can draw it if you like to draw. If you're good on the computer, you can do it on the computer. But you want to think about colors, fonts, shapes, border thicknesses to communicate your group's understanding. You're going to be doing this independently since we are at home. You want to give your concept map a title, and that will be kind of the rough draft of the final. You want to then think about accuracy and thoroughness. You want to think about organization. You want to think about appearance. You want to think about creativity. And ultimately, this is a lot. This is an entire chapter for this one about figurative language. But look, the different connectors, the different levels are different colors. It's visually appealing. Here's Harry Potter. Here's a top down. So I have the main idea here, digestive, and then all the steps or the parts of the digestive system are all the same color with branching out. Okay, this is hand done, but it's still, colorful and pretty. Here's another hand-drawn one. And then here's a very fancy hand-drawn one. So if you are, creative that way, feel free to do something like this. What I want you to do is get your textbook out and look on page 47 at the bottom where we're looking at temporal factors. Temporal means time, okay? Economic time, psychological time. So 47 to 49. I started to get through the process. This is now my last step. Okay, I have my title here. I have my main heading. I have psychological time, and I'm starting with my connectors. This is that, finalizing the concept map. I've generated all of them. I've grouped them. I've laid it out on my desk, and now I'm creating my final draft here. I don't have any of my connectors, and I'm only part of the way done out here with polychronic orientation. Ultimately, though, you will be creating concept maps. Okay, so what I want you to do is let me pull it up here. I want you to mark and annotate. Sorry, I'll get there. Maybe. Yeah, so there we go. I want you to mark and annotate two sections: in-store decision making and retailing as theater. So in-store decision making, retailing as theater starts on page 56 and ends on 58. And then in-store decision making is from 58 through 61. Okay. So your homework is to mark and annotate those two sections. They are retailing as theater, page 56, and in-store decision making, 58. That's all I want you to do. I don't want you to do any of the steps of concept mapping just yet, because you need to have an understanding of those two sections before you can concept map it. I am in the process of entering your grades for your vocabulary and for the patterns of organization, my skills lab module, which were due yesterday, actually. And we're going to work on concept mapping this week, and then move forward next week with the rest of this chapter and test taking strategies. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can email me. I also updated my office hours for this week. That's under announcements on Blackboard. Okay, but I want you to look over the concept mapping PowerPoint from our Blackboard. I'm going to put it up there now, and read those two sections and mark and annotate them. Okay. I will talk to you soon. I hope you are doing okay.